Okay, here we go. Sound like Tony Romo there. Here we go. How's everybody doing? Happy October 27th, whatever the title says is what the date is. I'm sitting in my truck because right now I'm just getting home from something, and this is the easiest place for me to do that. So I know the lighting sucks. I know that hopefully you can hear me okay, but I know the lighting is not great. But for me, maybe that's a good thing. So if somebody can please throw a chat out there if you can see me and hear me okay before we get going, I would appreciate it. Hey, Russell Black, back to you. Steve S., how are you? Just give it a couple more seconds. Scott Argetsinger, good to see you, man. Patrick Johan from GRC Trolling Products saying Lima Charlie. Thanks, Patrick. Good to see you. Congratulations on getting married recently, also. There we go. Great. Thanks, everybody. Hey, Patinos. See a lot of names in green. If you see a name in green, that means they are members of the Tango Tackle Army. If you want to join that, you can do so. The link is down below. You get access to our private Discord, as well as getting your name in a drawing for a charter fishing trip with me next year. So, congratulations to whoever's going to win that this year, because it's going to be a good time like it has been the last couple of years. I really enjoy doing that. Anyway, you also saw Scott Argetsinger on here. Scott is he is the real guru. I tell you what, last week you saw Scott on here on the channel, and we had a great discussion talking about our favorite products from 2023, what we thought were the most productive spoons, flashers, flies, meat, you name it. We had a real nice discussion on that. If you haven't watched it, feel free to jump in. But Scott is also a moderator on here, so if I miss a question, I'm always happy to have Scott here as a backup. Bill Gerlach, good to see you, man. Yeah, a little darker. It's getting darker earlier for sure, without a doubt, quickly. But yeah, it doesn't help that I'm sitting in my truck. As long as you can hear me, I guess that's probably half the battle, right? So, quick couple things here. Don't forget to take the poll. The poll question is the same this week as it was last week, because last week I boneheaded it and forgot to even mention it. So I want to put it back up there. And this week's poll question is a little more controversial, probably than, or not probably, it is more controversial than things I said probably again, but it is, than we've had in the past. So this week's question is bow hunting, I'm sorry, is hunting with a crossbow considered bow hunting? So throw your comment on there if you want, or just answer it yes or no, whatever you want. You don't have to make a comment. But yeah, I'll talk about my thoughts on that here at the end of this video, but make sure to take that poll if you don't mind. And some other things I want to cover real quick before we do a fishing report. I don't have a topic of the week this week. We had a really good one last week. That will hopefully hold you over for another week or two until I get another good one going like that. But first thing I want to tell everybody is I have some new videos coming out here in the next week or two, maybe even by tomorrow or the next day. At least the first one should be out. And what these videos are it's footage of the 2023 season on my charter boat. So a lot of footage, of course, of morning trips, afternoon trips, catching kings, catching steelhead, catching lake trout. And what I'm going to do in these videos, I want to deep dive everything. I got thinking, what do I like seeing in a video when I'm watching a video on fishing? And I found myself the other day, I was watching Salmon Showdown, and I found myself, as soon as the fish would hit the deck, I found myself wanting to know what lure was it sticking out of that fish's mouth. I found myself wanting to look around to see what other things I could glean off that boat. Maybe their speed or location. I'm always trying to learn every time I fish. I think most of you are also. So my thought process on these upcoming videos, I'm going to do it just like that. I'm going to deep dive into everything that went on with that fish or that double or that triple or that quad that we had going. And I mean, deep dive, like as far as what the reel was, the brand, the model, the rod. If I can remember the exact location, I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to try to remember the speed. I may be able to get the speed off the fish hawk on the video. I'm going to go, if I can see which lure was hanging out of its mouth, why I chose that lure. why I chose that direction, why I chose that location. I'm going to try to deep dive as much as I can in those videos for you guys and gals. So hopefully that's something that you're going to enjoy. If I was watching salmon videos, I know those would be the things that I would be wanting to see. It's fun to, yeah, it's fun to watch people catch fish. It can get a little boring though. I know it can because I get a little bored watching those videos too. So I'm trying to get not trying to. I am going to give you more in-depth detail on what's going on in that. So if that's something that appeals to you, make sure to stay tuned for the next week or two. I'm going to try to put one of those videos every couple of weeks, maybe 3 or 4 different fish catching scenarios on each one, and then you can take out of it whatever you want to. So, okay, Russell Gillen, you like the idea? Cool. Uncle Ken Fishing, you like the idea? Also great. Yeah. Good. I'm glad you guys like that. So if that's something you like, something you're looking forward to, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do so. Hit the bell, and that way you know when it's coming out. I'm reading off a note I got here. Red, so you're looking forward to the thought process of how I got the fish to bite. Well, normally I just close my eyes and drive in circles, but I'll go into as much depth as I can, on the thought process. No problem. No problem. Okay, so 3 big things coming up. 3 big things. 2 of them I've talked about already. There's a third, and I'll tell you about the third here in a moment. One of the big things, I'm going to be able to disclose what it is on December 3rd. So that Sunday's live stream, December 3rd, I'm going to have a guest on the channel that night, and we're going to talk in great detail about what this is. And all I can say right now is it's an event, and it's an event you're going to want to get involved on. So December 3rd, I'm going to be able to talk more detail on that, so I'll leave that. Also, there's a product that I was testing over the last, pretty much the whole month of September, end of July, or end of August, rather. A product from a very prominent fishing company, something that I was lucky enough to be selected to help test the prototype. I'm going to be able to give you the information on that product here, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. I haven't gotten final details on that yet, but that's something you're also going to really want to stay tuned for. That is a really, really cool product. So, and then the third thing is I've been, excuse me, I've been in contact with Shane Rubianis down at Dreamweaver. Don't forget, these videos, these live streams are all probably brought to you by Dreamweaver Lures. Check them out at dreamweaverlures.com. Huge supporter of the channel, if not the biggest supporter of the channel. Love those guys. But talking with Captain Shane, owner of DW, we are going to build a studio inside the new Dreamweaver Lures building, their factory, or whatever you want to call their business. Shane wants to pick out a little spot, or a good enough spot, or whatever size, I don't care. Put me in a corner or whatnot, but we're going to actually make a new studio inside the new Dreamweaver Lures building, just dedicated solely to this channel. So we're talking about better equipment, better cameras, better live streams, better backgrounds, a little better everything. And what that means is just better things for everybody on here that watches every Sunday. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm supposed to go down there tomorrow, but I might have to cancel that till Tuesday. But Shane and I are already talking about it. We're going to start tearing out, demoing out a spot, rebuild it the way that we see it, the way I see it in my channel. Whatever also, of course, helps DW. Well, we have very like-minded vision. I'll put it that way. So anyway, it's going to be super exciting. Be a great place to have guests come in, be a great place to do tutorial videos, things like that. So I'm really looking forward to that. So those are the 3 big things. Don't forget, December 3rd, big event we're going to announce on this channel. That'd be great if we're in the studio by then. In November sometime, I'm going to announce whatever that product is that I was field testing, and then the new studio coming out in the Dreamweaver building. So cool. All right. Let's do a fishing report, and then we'll get out of here. It's Sunday. Everybody's got better things to do on Sundays, but I appreciate everybody being here anyway. Captain Crow, yeah, I am. I'm a very lucky guy. It's not me. I'm just surrounding myself with good people, or at least I try to. And If you hang out with good people, usually good things happen. So it's more than I deserve, no doubt about it. So, fishing report. Really, the biggest show right now is the river. Big manistee. A lot of steelhead coming in. I talked to a few people who have been out running on them. Of course, the steelhead are coming in. They're trying to gobble up whatever salmon eggs that they can right now. And a lot of them will winter over inside the river. So, sounds like beads have been the hot ticket as of late. I'm sure spawn bags will work as well. But, they're getting more and more steelhead are gonna be piling into that river over the next few weeks without a doubt. As this weather cools down, we get some more cold rains coming in. Just getting down there on the river, finding some tail outs behind some deep holes. Just drifting some beads down through there, and there's some bobbers, maybe back bouncing some spawn or some spawn underneath bobbers as well. You're likely to catch or hook up on a couple of good fish. It's not something you have to do from a boat. You can do it from the shore if you're familiar with the river. If it's something you've never done before and it's something that you want to do, get a hold of a guide here on Manistee or on the PM or the Muskegon or the Grand or wherever you feel or wherever you want to go, whatever, or Betsy. It's something I highly recommend you try at least once. And once you do it with a guide or at least with some very experienced people, there's a lot of tricks you can pick up on, just enough where you can likely go out and chase after them on your own, just with a set of waders from the shoreline. It's a lot of fun, and we're just getting really into that really, really good time for steelhead. So that also leads me back to something I wrote down on here. I'm sure somebody's going to ask about my boat, my Stealthcraft boat. When is it going to be done? I imagine it's going to be done here pretty quick, because in the mail a couple days ago, I got the title for the boat and the trailer. Even though I haven't paid a dime for it yet, I got the title and the trailer. So that leads me to believe it's going to be done here pretty quick. So that's something I'm looking forward to. And of course, once I get my riverboat all set up, it's going to take me a month to really get that thing going, where I get comfortable with it, know the boat. I'll start booking up some trips for the rest of the year as well. So if you want to get on the river with me, do a little steelhead fishing over the winter time, I got an enclosure on the boat. You'll stay warm. We'll talk about that here in the next couple of weeks, but keep that in your back pocket if it's something that you want to do. All right, so like I said, steelhead in the rivers, that's really the big ticket around right now. I have no doubt if you went out and fished on Portage Lake or even your own inland lakes, if the waters are cooling down, you're going to be able to get walleye up in the shallows right now. Those walleyes crowd up into the shallows, where the warmest water is, because the bait moves up in there. The walleye chase after the bait. Just trolling stick baits along the shorelines, and I'm talking like one right up on the shore and then stagger some boards back off it. You're going to do just fine. I used to do that every year and had a blast. I just ate. I'm sorry. Ugh, I'm sorry. But yeah, I used to do that every year, and we had just a blast catching nice walleye in the fall time. It's a great, great time to do it. My buddy Greg Golab is down on Lake Erie right now. He's been tearing up the perch. If you're down in that area, man, oh man, I wish I was. Sounds like perch fishing is just fantastic right now. So get after them as well. I'm sure there's some good perch fishing around here also. I just haven't heard about it. And that is pretty much your fishing report for this Sunday. We ripped through it pretty quick. Didn't have a whole lot to talk about this week. So we got like 100 people on here. If you have a question or anything, throw out the question real quick. And once we handle some Q&A, we'll finish up the poll, and then we'll get out of here. So what's on your mind? Tell me. Well, let's do this. Let's talk about the poll. So like I said, the question for this week on the poll is hunting with a crossbow considered bow hunting? So I remember back when crossbows were legal for people that really could not handle a compound bow. They could not manipulate a compound bow with sufficient draw weight, that would put a deer down. So they were giving crossbow permits out to, of course, elderly people that still wanted to bow hunt, but they couldn't pull back compound, people with disabilities, and I was all for that. All for it. Still am all for that. Then they changed the law over to anybody can hunt with a crossbow. And when I look at a crossbow, and I know I'm going to ruffle some feathers here, and that's fine. We'll still be friends. If you don't want to be friends, that's your choice, not mine. But I respect both sides on this. This is just my opinion. When I look at a crossbow, I see a short range rifle. If you look at a picture of a scope picture with a reticle in it of a crosshair, and you couldn't tell me if it was a rifle or a crossbow, you have to agree with me that a crossbow is nothing more than a short range rifle. And it is much, how do I want to say this? It has made the game much easier when it comes to bow hunting. Much easier. And that's one of the things about bow hunting that I particularly enjoy is the challenge of it. You know, I've even quit rifle hunting because of the challenge that I love out of bow hunting. That's my draw to bow hunting. It's the time that I have to spend in the field. It's the time that I have to scout. It's the time that I have to figure out my area. It's the time that I have to figure out my deer's patterns, my buck's patterns, my doe's patterns, because they can differ throughout the season until the rut starts. What they do during the rut, what they do pre-rut, what they do post-rut. It's all of that time that I have to dedicate in the field that makes me enjoy bow hunting. Has made me a better bow hunter as well. So putting a crossbow into the mix, and I akin that to like just going out on opening day with your 30-06 and sitting down in your blind that your family may have handed down to you, and a nice 10-point walks out and you blast it. Not a whole lot of preparation. It's a great deer. It's a great conquest. It's a nice trophy. But I really want that challenge. And this is just me personally. And again, this I'm sure this doesn't fly with everybody on here, but that's one of the reasons, probably the biggest reason why I don't see crossbow hunting as bow hunting. It takes away the challenge of it. When I saw 18, 20, 19, 20-year-old guys, gals just going out with crossbows because they can, I thought to myself, man, they're missing out on the soul essence of bow hunting, of just going out and having to get in tune with wherever you're hunting, with nature, with your prey, learning how to be quiet, learning scent control, learning stealth, learning stalking, learning tracking, because tracking is different typically with a bow. Well, anyway, that was my long-winded answer on all that. And again, I know I'm going to ruffle some feathers on that. If you hunt with a crossbow and you could still hunt with a compound bow, but you choose crossbow, again, I have no problem with that. It's my thing is just I will always hunt with a compound as long as I am physically able. I know some people are going to out there going to kick me in the kneecap and saying, well, what about traditional archery versus compound? Aren't you cheating that way as well? And I would say yes, to an extent, because you still have to learn stealth, scent, scouting, feeding habits, movement habits, movement from bedding to feeding areas, buck habits, in November, buck habits, all those things, rather than just plopping a tree stand out in the middle of a cornfield and a nice 10-point walks out at 60 yards and you throw a crossbow bolt through it because you can, looking through a scope. Anyway, that's my take on it. Long-winded. Hate me, agree with me, it doesn't matter. It's fine. We're all still friends. Unless you don't want to be, like I said. But I just thought I'd throw my 2 cents out there on it. So make sure to take the poll on that. If you don't like what I said, hit the dislike button. I'm fine with that. I'm good with that. And I know it gets more hunters out in the field, especially youth. It gives them an opportunity to get out there bow hunting, and it gets them an opportunity to get their feet on the ground, really get taste for it. So I know it brings more kids into the bow scene, and that's a great thing. But still, for me, I like the challenge of a bow. That's where I sit on it. We just leave it right there. And I can't look at the poll right now. I can't manipulate it because I'm on my phone. But please make sure you put your answer on the poll, whatever you want. Leave your comment on there also. I'll go back and read the comments. And that's it. That's all I got. My page is empty. That's all I got to cover. So if you got any questions, comments, you want to yell at me, go ahead. I'm thick-skinned. You're not going to bother me. Tim's on here. Blind Osprey, my first mate. Call the Wild saying the biggest thing about a crossbow over a compound is the drawback movement. I can see that, but I think there's a lot of other things that are different as well. A lot of other things that I already mentioned are way, way different. If you can rest your compound on a rest with a scope and accurately shoot that way, it's a lot different than pulling back a compound or recurve longbow and having to hold that draw until I don't know how many times I've had nice bucks. I draw back on them. As soon as they do, they just churn enough where they don't give me the perfect shot. And now I'm stuck at full draw waiting for them to come back into the right turn. And sometimes it takes a while. So I think there's a lot of other elements there. But that's a great answer, Call the Wild. I appreciate that. All right. Don't forget, if you want to get your reels done, get a hold of Scott. Look up Mascot Reel Service on Facebook. He got my reels back to me already. I gave him that whole box of 20 reels last week. They're already back from Scott. What I loved about this is he went through, I just handed them to him. I was like, hey, I just want new drags. Help me out. But he went through every reel, checked all the gearing, all the worm gears, checked everything, all the screws. And so some of those reels I got back with new worm gears, new whatever. Scott, you're on here. You can explain it better than I can. But man, oh man, those Akumas that I now have back are going to last me another 5, 6, 7, 8 years, maybe longer than that. So well worth the money. Now, Scott, nice job. 2 thumbs up for you, buddy. All right. We are 21 minutes into this, and I think comments are starting to fizzle out, so we'll get out of here. And I'll go get to work some more on those videos I was talking about. Don't forget, if that's something you're interested in, make sure to stick around. I'm really looking forward to deep diving those videos, getting as much information out there as I can. Maybe I'll do it like a pop-up thing. You remember the VH1 pop-up video where they had just a bubble pop-up with information? Something like that. All right, Steve Steele, good to see you. Thanks, man. I appreciate the comment there. All right, I'll give it another 30 seconds here to see if anybody's got questions or anything they want to talk about. Bill Gerlach, you're very welcome. Good to see you too, Bill. Bill, you've been on this channel a long time. Always nice to see you back. It's starting to rain. I'm not going to hear it. I wouldn't be surprised if we get snow in the next day or two. At least some sleet. Russell, thanks. Appreciate that. All right. We're fading out here. So I'm out of here. See everybody back here next Sunday night, 7 p.m. Well, I'll see if I can get a topic of the week going. If there's some topics that you were looking to see on the show, leave them in the comments. We'll see what we can do about that. Anyway, take care, everyone. Be safe.